April 27th. Ghetto. The word ghetto is considered to be a noun. It means a section of a city, especially a thickly populated slum area, inhabited predominantly by members of an ethnic or other minority group, often as a result of social or economic restrictions, pressures, or hardships. Formerly, in most European countries, it meant a section of a city in which all Jews were required to live. Any mode of living, working, etc. that results from stereotyping or biased treatment is considered to be a ghetto. She had never lived in a ghetto is an example of a sentence in which the word ghetto can be used. Foreground is also a noun, and it means the ground or part situated or represented as situated in the front, the portion of a scene nearest to the viewer. It is the contrary of a background. Foreground can also be a prominent or important position, a forefront. He decided to describe his character's foreground as a beautiful view is another example of how this word can be used. Tableau is a noun, and its definition is a picture as of a scene or a picturesque grouping of persons or objects, a striking scene, or a representation of a picture, statue, scene, etc. by one or more persons suitably costumed and posed. The tableau of the coffee shop was chaotic is a sentence in which this word is used. To emigrate is a verb. To leave one country or region to settle in another, or basically to migrate, is its meaning. They emigrated to Japan so they could have better jobs, is a sentence in which this word is used. Annex is a noun, and it means a subsidiary building or in addition to a building. And the sentence in which that word can be used is my grandmother is building an annex in her house so she can make room for her 89 cats. Conspicuous is an adjective, and it means easily seen or noticed, readily visible or observable, attracting special attention as by outstanding qualities or eccentricities. Annalyn was conspicuous in the crowd. Her large umbrella got looks of curiosity from passers-by. Is an example of a sentence in which this word is used. So, a ghetto is a noun, and its definition is a section of a city, especially a thickly populated slum area, inhabited predominantly by members of an ethnic or other minority group, often as a result of social or economic restrictions, pressures, or hardships. In the past, in most European countries, a ghetto was a section of a city in which all Jews were required to live. And a ghetto can also mean any mode of living, working, or anything else that results from stereotyping or biased treatment. Her father told her ghettos were filthy places is an example of a sentence in which this word can be used. Another word from the vocabulary is foreground. It is also a noun, and it's the contrary of a background, or the ground or part situated or represented as situated in the front, the portion of the scene nearest to the viewer. A foreground can also mean a prominent or important position, a forefront. A sentence in which that word can be used is looking a painting of a woman, Jason thought. Am I her foreground, as these planes are her background? A tableau is a picture as of a scene. This word is a noun, and it can also mean a picturesque grouping of persons or objects, a striking scene. A representation of a picture, statue, scene, or anything else by one or more persons suitably costumed and posed. An example in which this word can be used is Caroline invited me to participate in a tableau, but I refused as I have a terrible fear of costumes. And I think the only verb in this vocabulary set is to emigrate, and it means to leave one country or region to settle in another, to migrate. A sentence in which that word can be used is, to emigrate is sometimes the only solution for a better life. An annex is a subsidiary building or an addition to a building, and this word is a noun. The annex of my house is like a secret library is a sentence in which this word can be used. Conspicuous is an adjective. It means easily seen or noticed, readily visible or observable, attracting special attention as by outstanding qualities or eccentricities. Mom, are you sure this outfit does not make me conspicuous? Is a sentence in which that word can be used. April 29th. Ghetto is the first word of the vocabulary, and it means a section of a city, especially a thickly populated slum area, inhabited predominantly by members of an ethnic or other minority group, often as a result of social or economic restrictions, pressures, or hardships. A ghetto is also any mode of living, working, etc. that results from stereotyping or biased treatment. And in the past, in most European countries, it was a section of a city in which all Jews were required to live. A sentence in which that word can be used is, one day, Marianne went to the ghetto. Another word of the vocabulary set is foreground. It is another noun, and it is the antonym of a background, meaning that it is the ground or part situated or represented as situated in the front. It can also mean the portion of a scene nearest to the viewer, or even a prominent or important position, a far front. It can be used in the sentence, if a storm was on her presence foreground, she would need to fight. And a word in the vocabulary that means a picture as of a scene or a picturesque grouping of persons or objects, a striking scene, or even a representation of a picture, statue, scene, etc. by one or more persons suitably costumed and posed, is the word tableau. It is also a noun. The tableau of this poster is magnificent is an example of how this word can be used in a sentence. Emigrate, the fourth word of the vocabulary, is a verb. It is to leave one country or region to settle in another, to migrate. She wondered if emigrating made life more difficult or easier. Is an example of a sentence in which this word can be used. An annex is a subsidiary building or an addition to a building, and that word is also a noun. My mother used to live in an annex of my aunt's house is a sentence in which you can use this word. Conspicuous is an adjective, and it means easily seen or noticed, readily visible or observable, attracting special attention as by outstanding qualities or eccentricities. An example of a sentence which that word can be used is, my cat is so colorful, he was conspicuous at the pet shop. April 30th. Ghetto. Noun. In the past, in most European countries, ghetto was a section of a city in which all Jews were required to live. Ghetto nowadays can mean a section of a city, especially a thickly populated slum area inhabited predominantly by members of an ethnic or other minority group, often as a result of social or economic restrictions, pressures, or hardships. A ghetto is also any mode of living, working, etc. that results from stereotyping or biased treatment. A sentence in which the word ghetto can be used is: while in the ghetto, Marianne met 7 street cats and a very cool girl named Alice. A foreground is the ground or part situated or represented as situated in the front, the portion of a scene nearest to the viewer. It is the contrary of a background. Foreground is also a prominent or important position or forefront, and this word is a noun. You can use the word foreground in the sentence: a boy was looking to the sea and I thought, what is so interesting in that foreground? A tableau is a picture as of a scene, a picturesque grouping of persons or objects, a striking scene, a representation of a picture, statue, scene, etc. by one or more persons suitably costumed and posed. This word is a noun. A sentence in which you can use that word is: should I choose a calmer tableau for my project? To leave one country or region to settle in another, or to migrate, is the definition of a word in our vocabulary, which is emigrate. It is a verb. A sentence in which you can use that word is: do you really need to emigrate? Isn't that a harsh choice? The word annex is a noun, and it means a subsidiary building or an addition to a building. A sentence in which you can use that word is: when I grow up, I'll build an annex which will contain an awesome planetarium. The word conspicuous is an adjective. Its definition is: easily seen or noticed, readily visible or observable, attracting special attention, as by outstanding qualities or eccentricities. If I was considered to be more conspicuous, I would be the moon itself. This is a sentence in which you can use this word. May 1st. Ghetto. Noun. A ghetto is any mode of living, working, etc. that results from stereotyping or biased treatment. In the past, in most European countries, it was a section of a city in which all Jews were required to live. Ghetto can also mean a section of a city, especially a thickly populated slum area, inhabited predominantly by members of an ethnic or other minority group, often as a result of social or economic restrictions, pressures, or hardships. After meeting Alice, Marianne concluded that her father's vision of the ghetto was biased. As an example of how the word can be used in a sentence. Foreground is a noun, and it's the contrary of a background. It can mean a prominent or important position, a forefront, or the ground or part situated or presented as situated in the front, the portion of a scene nearest the viewer. A foreground might be an important feature of imagery, as an example in which this word can be used in a sentence. Tableau is a noun. It means a picture as of a scene. A picture is grouping of persons or objects, a striking scene, representation of a statue, scene, etc. by one or more persons suitably costumed and posed. This park's tableau is always calm, is an example of how this word can be used in a sentence. To emigrate, it's a verb. To leave one country or region to settle in another, to migrate. Her parents told her that Japan wasn't so bad, but she continued to despise the idea of immigrating. This is an example in which this verb can be used in a sentence. Annex is a subsidiary building or in addition to a building, and this word is a noun. This word can be used in the sentence, did you decorate this annex yourself? Conspicuous is an adjective. It means easily seen or noticed, readily visible or observable, attracting special attention as by outstanding qualities or eccentricities. Her hair was bright blue, of a tone so conspicuous everyone noticed it, is a sentence in which you can use that word.